Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Today I'm going to show you how to connect Realtor.ca leads into Follow Up Boss automatically. So as soon as those leads come in from Realtor.ca, they're automatically added to Follow Up Boss. Along with the API Nation sync, we're also going to be using another tool, Mailparser.io. So we're going to set up Mailparser.io to receive the email notification about the lead, and there's an integration there that'll put it right into a spreadsheet, which can sync it into the CRM. The first step to setting up this automation is going to be creating a spreadsheet where all your leads are going to land. So we're going to open up a page here. In the address bar, you can actually just use this helpful little shortcut. It's spreadsheets.new. And if you type that in there, it's just going to create a new Google Sheet for you automatically. So there we go. It just takes you to a brand new, fresh Google Sheet. And we're going to call this New Leads from Mailparser. And then we're just going to put in header rows for information we expect from a lead. So stuff like first name, last name, email, phone, message, address, city, state, zip, and anything else you think might be coming over with your leads that you're going to want synced in eventually to your CRM. But this looks good to me. This is all the information I typically want. So now that we have this spreadsheet, we're going to go over to Mailparser.io to set up that part. Next, we're going to go to Mailparser.io, and this is a separate tool from API Nation, but I find it's really useful. What it does is those emails you get, those lead notification emails with all the information about a lead that you get, you have them sent or you automatically forward them to an email address that Mailparser is going to give you. And Mailparser is going to be able to pull out the relevant information, the name, the message, the address, the phone, the email, all that stuff, and you can have it put into a spreadsheet. So that's what we're going to do here. And if you go to the pricing page on Mailparser, you'll see there is a free account. So that's what we would use to get started. If you're getting more than 30 leads a month, or you want to do this with other apps, then consider going up to the professional version. But just to get started, we're going to go with the free version. And once you set it up, it's going to look like this. Create your first inbox. So you're going to hit this button, go ahead and name the inbox, and you can name it something as normal as leads. You can name it after the service where the leads are coming from, whatever is going to be most helpful for you. Hit save, and there we go. It's created your email address for your inbox. And this email address, you need to do one of two things. One, you can either go to the lead service, the lead generation service, and give it this email address as a second place to send those lead notification emails. You can do that, or you can set up a rule in your inbox, your Gmail, your Outlook, whatever you're using, so that any emails you get from your lead service automatically get forwarded to this email address. Either way, those lead notification emails you're getting need to somehow get sent to this email address. That's very important. So once you go and do that, the next thing it's asking you to do is send over some examples of what kind of emails you're expecting from your lead generation service. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to copy this to clipboard. I'm going to go over to my email inbox and forward over a couple emails. And you're going to see it's waiting for those examples to arrive. And as soon as those examples arrive, it's going to say, good news, we got your emails. So now you're going to hit select and continue to set up the parsing rules. So on this page, you're going to see some information here. It's going to show you the information about the example email, and you're going to come over here to this template area. First, you're going to go over to the category and click real estate. And then that's going to load up a bunch of different templates that might work. And actually, it looks like it looked at the email and it automatically selected Realtor.ca, which is exactly what we want. So I can go ahead and just click start with this template. Once you do that, it's going to give you a congratulations message. You did it. Go ahead and hit OK. And then it's going to start putting in those emails after they're parsed here so that you can go in and see that leads information whenever you want. So great. We've now set up the email parsing. The emails are getting forwarded to Mailparser. Mailparser is pulling out the relevant information. Our next step is to connect Mailparser to Google Sheets. So to do that, I'm going to hit integrations. And then we're going to click new integrations. And Mailparser gives you a lot of good options here as far as integrating, including a webhook, a generic webhook, which we have a separate video if you want to connect Mailparser to your app using a generic webhook. Super helpful if your app doesn't have a connection to Google Sheets like some of these CRMs. But we're going to use Google Sheets because API Nation does connect to a lot of CRMs using Google Sheets. So I'm going to use this Google Sheet integration, and these are set up per inbox. So only this one inbox is going to get this integration. If you have multiple inboxes for different lead sources, maybe you have Realtor.CA, maybe you have OpCity, maybe you have another one, all different inboxes, you're going to need to set up different integration for each of those inboxes. So let me just do this for this one. You can choose your Google account. I've connected Gabe at API Nation. If I haven't, I would hit add account and go ahead and sign in. But I've connected in the past, so it's just gonna serve it up. All right, the app is now connected. It's refreshed the page with that connection, and it's asking me to choose the spreadsheet. So I'm gonna hit this drop down, and we're looking for this spreadsheet we created at the beginning, new leads from Mailparser. So I'm gonna click on the drop down, and this is alphabetical, so I'm just gonna scroll down to N for new, LMN. There it is, new leads from Mailparser. So I'm gonna click on that. And then it's gonna ask for the worksheet, which is just gonna be the first page because that's where we created it. Sheet 1, it chooses it automatically. Great. Last thing to do here to make this connection is the field mapping. These are the columns in Google Sheets we created earlier, and it's gonna offer us some stuff from the email. So we're gonna put first name there. We're gonna see if there's a last name. It doesn't look like there is a last name with this lead. So we're gonna skip that. We're gonna put in email. We're gonna put in phone. We're gonna put in message and just go through and map this up. Super easy. There we go, state and zip. And again, if you're getting additional information with your leads that you want added in here, just be sure to create columns in your spreadsheet for that information. So if it's something like second email address, second phone number, buyer, seller, any of that information, just make a column for it, name it something you're gonna understand, and then when you go through and do the mapping in Mailparser, it's gonna offer it to you and you can just map it up with the stuff it's pulling out of the email. That's it, I'm gonna hit save and test. It's gonna send over that lead into my Google Sheet, send test data, great. There we go, looks like it worked. So now my Mailparser inbox is taking every lead I send to it and putting it in a Google Sheet. That's great, awesome to have that backed up. All right, so the next step is to connect that Google Sheet to Follow-Up Boss. So as soon as the lead comes in, Mailparser puts it on the Google Sheet. The Google Sheet is connected to Follow-Up Boss and it shows up automatically. So to do that, we're gonna go to apination.com and click on Start Syncing. You're gonna see a ton of different apps here, including, if I scroll down to F, there's Follow-Up Boss. You can take a look around and see some of the other apps, a ton of different real estate apps that you can automate using API Nation. With Follow-Up Boss, you can see you can actually sync all of these apps. Today we're focused on Google Sheets, so I can click on that. There's gonna be a few different options. We have a sync to send activities from Follow-Up Boss into a Google Sheet, contacts into a Google Sheet, but we actually wanna go the other direction. We wanna say Google Sheet into Follow-Up Boss. I'm gonna activate that sync. The first step is to sign into your API Nation account. If you don't have an API Nation account, click here and you can go ahead and create one. You can sign in, or you can sign in with your Google account, which is what I'm going to do. Once you sign in, we're gonna connect both of these apps. So you're just gonna hit the connect button, choose the Google account that owns this Google Sheet that Mailparser is writing to. So if you have multiple Google accounts, make sure you choose the Google account that owns this Google Sheet. Then you're gonna hit allow. Next, we're gonna connect Follow-Up Boss. Pretty simple, you're just gonna hit connect. It's gonna ask you for the API key from Follow-Up Boss and a name for the connection. You can just name it whatever you want. You can name it after you can name it after your team, you can name it after your office. And then to get that API key, you can see it's under admin, API, and API key in Follow-Up Boss. So let's go there real quick. So here we're gonna click on admin, go all the way to the right, go to more, click on API, and there's your API key. So you can just click create API key. It's going to create a new API key for you. You can name it again after you or the connection you're making and hit create API key. Just grab that, copy it, take it back to API Nation and paste it in here and hit connect. All right, so we've connected both the apps. The next step is to set up the sync. So the first thing it's asking for is the spreadsheet URL. Let's go to that spreadsheet from Mailparser, and we're gonna grab this URL, hit Command-C or Control-C to copy it, go back to API Nation, hit Command-V or Control-V to paste it in here. As they get added to Follow Up Boss, let's say a lead you already have in Follow Up Boss fills out the form for whatever reason and gets sent over to you as a new lead again. Do you want to overwrite that information? Or you can click this button, say don't overwrite Follow Up Boss, just fill in any blank fields if they added any new information. I'm gonna hit subscribe. There we go, so the sync is now created. It's not yet active though. We just have to hit this button to activate it. A couple things before we do. First is the filter. You can filter who's coming over in the sync, so that if you want to make sure I don't get anybody from, state is not Arizona, you can do that, and then it'll block out everybody who is from Arizona. For the most part, most people I've talked to setting up the sync like this, getting leads into their CRM, they don't want to filter. They are paying for these leads. They want to get everybody in there. They don't want to accidentally block somebody just in case. So no filter here. Come down here to mapping. You can see it's asking for a few things: first name, last name, phone, and email. And these all have red asterisks, which means they need to be there in order for us to create this contact. So let's start with email. Put that in there. Now first name, and now last name. And actually, I think if you have first, last, and email, you don't need phone. But we have phone, so let's put it in there. And if there's anything else you want to add in here, just keep hitting this plus sign, match it up with the stuff, the field there, and pop it in here. Tags, if you want to add some tags, you absolutely can. You can go ahead and just type it in here. Hot leads, hot lead, follow up immediately, whatever tag you want to use, whatever tag your team is currently using for these contacts. And if the tag doesn't exist, it can still create the tag and apply it to the lead. Notes, I'm going to go ahead and put in that message on the notes. I like that. That way I have it there ready to check out. And also the last thing is you can see all the custom fields are here available to sync into. So if you have some custom fields you want to write to, they're going to be here available and you can pop information into them. But that looks good. I'm going to go to the top and activate this sync. So there we go. Google Sheets is now connected to Follow Up Boss. As soon as the lead comes in from Mailparser to the Google Sheet, Google Sheet will go ahead and fire it into Follow Up Boss so it's automatically updated. The sync fires every 10 minutes here. So within 10 minutes or less, the contact will be in Follow Up Boss so you can follow up, email, call, text, start creating that deal. So that's it. That's how you connect Realtor.ca leads to Follow Up Boss. No copying, no pasting, no importing or exporting. None of that. As soon as the email comes in with the lead, it goes to Mailparser. Mailparser is going to pull out the information and put it in a Google Sheet. The Google Sheet automatically updates the Follow Up Boss. All that stuff happens in the background. You don't have to worry about it. It's happening automatically. As far as you're concerned, you just open up Follow Up Boss. You see the new leads there. You can follow up and start creating the deals. If you have any questions or need any assistance setting up this sync, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation, and we're connecting the world's applications.